Hi everyone, it's Sue. Welcome back. I'm just going to play around and make some backgrounds. Today I've got this book I have sitting beside my desk that I tend to sort of glue on or just tear some script from every now and again. And I was watching Alison Bomber at Words and Pictures before, and she just gessos some of her book pages, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to start doing some of that. So I've done a few here. They're very light. I'm just using a cheap gesso, Montmartre, and I'm using that brush. I did use a brush that I had purchased specifically for gesso, but it left brush strokes, and I didn't want big brush strokes. If I've got a few, it doesn't really worry me, but I'm just going to go over with this soft brush and just add another layer of gesso. I didn't think you needed to see me gesso all of those, but I had a torn piece. I did that as well. I've left quite a bit of the script showing through because I wanted to have that showing. And while I was going, I decided to do some of these shipping tags really roughly, as you can see. So now I'm just going to grab some inks and I'm going to splotch them onto my glass mat here. So I'm using a Distress Ink pumice stone. I'm going to put that down and add some water to that. And then I'm just going to go through and dip that light pumice stone colour into my papers. I really like how these tags turned out. So I've cut them all apart so they're singular tags, and I'm going to grab the pumice stone Distress Ink again and an applicator, and I'm going to just go around the edges of these tags and starting on my mat and just bringing it into the tags, and you can see it's sort of giving it more texture where it's picking up where the gesso was as well. And I really like this look. So I'm just going to go around and do that on all of the tags. And then I'll come back and show you what they look like. Oh, I love how these are looking. Look at all that beautiful texture and colour in those. So I'm going to grab my book pages that I also did. I'm going to do basically a similar sort of thing around the edges of those. This is nothing new. This has been done before, but I don't know, I just felt the need to have to play with some ink and get a little bit messy. I had no inspiration otherwise, and these things always come in handy to make pages in your journals or add into your collages, use as ephemera, pockets, that type of thing. So a good way to sort of get the inspiration flowing as well, which it did after I had done this. So I'm going to go and do all the book pages now as well, and I will be back again once they're done. Okay, I'm just finishing off the last one there. And you can see how it's just picking up the texture from the gesso and the other ink that was laid down. So now I'm going to get my water spray. This water spray is pretty hopeless. I've actually got one of the Tim Holtz water spritzers on order, and I know that it'll be better because I used one of my friend's spritzer the other day, and it was just, I don't know, you wouldn't think that a water bottle or a water sprayer would be much different, but it was amazing. Anyway, enough of that. I'm just spraying and sploshing. This is another Alison Bomber technique, which she does beautifully. Mine ended up like a huge mess, but I loved the texture and I had fun doing it. So that's the main thing. So just leaving that sit there for a bit, and I've got my heat tool. I'm just going to sort of start the drying process, and then I'll just get some tissue or paper towel and draw up some of that excess water. So you can see where I've placed the paper towel, and it's bringing up where the water droplets have been, and leaving those little dots on there. Beautiful effect. I will splotch that or draw that up, whatever you call it, and then I'm just going to dry that completely with my heat tool before I start with the next layer. So those sheets are completely dry, and I want the pumice stone to be a little bit darker, so I'm coming back in with the same distress ink that I used before, and I'm just going to do another layer of it on these pages just to make it a little bit darker. So I've just flicked some water on the tags as well, and I'm just placing the paper towel over top to draw up the excess water. I love how these turned out. You'll see in a minute when I take the paper towel away. Same thing, I'm going to dry between the layers. You can see where the water was sitting on the tags there. How great does that look? Love it. Absolutely love it. So much texture. I've dried all those. Now I want to add another layer of colour. I've got all my inks that I've got them swatched out onto this sheet here. I got this sheet from Lou Collins. I will try and remember to pop the link down below. I wanted to see if I had any of the pumice stone in the Distress Oxide, which I didn't, and I'm just trying to choose another colour to add to the tags now. I find this really easy, having them swatched out, because I can add them, put them to the side of what I'm working on just to see if it's going to match, as well as I can see what I have, so that I don't double up and that I can gradually add to my collection. So I'm using scorched timber here, and I'm having a big think about it and how I'm going to go forward with this. And I think I'm going to go around the edges again and into some of the tag and with the scorched timber, just to sort of give it a little bit of a more grungy effect. So I'll go through and do that on the tags as well as the book pages. I've done all the tags and I've done the book pages so far, and in some ways I regret possibly not stopping here. That's my biggest problem, is once I start playing with ink and paint and that type of thing, I never know when to stop. So I'm just going to use a gel plate here just as my, what would you call it, palette, I guess. I've got a small brayer, and I'm just going to use some carbon black paint. Same thing, I was a little bit heavy-handed with this. And what I had in my head didn't quite work out. But in the end, I'm quite happy with the end result. So what I'm doing is I've put too much paint out. I'm just trying to wipe off some of the excess, and I'm just wiping it onto the paper towel as well. And I'm just going to try and very gently, which I don't, just add some of this paint with the brayer. Now it's too heavy and I lose a lot of that texture, but I just keep going with it and just hope that I get something out of it. In the end, I get some beautiful grungy backgrounds, which I'm quite happy to use. As I said, it's what was in my head. It didn't quite turn out, but I'm just going to push forward and just have play. So this is more of the effect that I was hoping to get, just a light layer of that black paint, and you can still see the texture underneath. That's what I was aiming for, and that's not what I got on that book page. So I ended up working it out in the end, and I continue to play around with the others, but then I take it one step further again, which you'll see in a minute. I was inspired by that jelly plate before when I put the paint on there. I didn't want to get too much out, so I just bounced the tube of paint on the jelly plate and I got those circles. So I thought I'm going to try and do that on one of these book pages. Once again, it didn't quite work out how it looks on the jelly plate and I got too much paint on there, but oh, it is what it is. I just wasn't sure. Really wasn't sure what I was doing. As I said, I was just mainly playing, and whatever happens, happens. Well, I made a huge mess, cleaned it up, and now I've decided I'm going to use some Distress ink, Rusty Hinge Distress ink. And same thing, I'm going to add some water, and then I'm going to just dip the tag and the pages into that just to get a little bit of, I don't know, a rusty warm effect on top of that. They end up being really, really grungy, these pages and these tags, but I really like the effect in the end. So I'll go and do that to all of them as well. Oh my goodness, now I've got this rose gold Kaisercraft spray. I don't ever spray it, I just take it out of the bottle and do droplets onto whatever I'm using it on. I don't know, just grabbing all sorts of different things to see what the effect would be like. I can't say I love this 100%, but once again, it's all about playing and just seeing what effects you can get. So I just do that all over that tag, and then I'll dry it off and show you. Okay, it's going to take forever to dry, so I just thought I would show you. It's not too bad. It's not great, but I don't know. I'll leave it as it is. Whether I do it on the other ones or not, I'm not sure. So this time around, I've decided to use the Rusty Hinge Distress ink and a fan brush and add my splatters that way with a bit of water as well. And I think it's not as obvious, but I think I like this effect better than the that Kaisercraft spray. So it's fairly subtle, but it does add another layer of texture. And go all out with it as well. I don't mind how it looks, to be honest. This time I'm also adding some artist ink, some Atelier sepia artist ink, and I'm going to add some splotches on with that and some water. I'm going to water it down a bit and see what that looks like. So it's good. I've used quite a few different mediums, and I mean, it's a great way to use them and experiment with them and work out what they actually do. I haven't really used this artist ink a lot, and it's quite thick, so I was quite surprised by that. So I'm getting a nice, you can see there, a nice motley effect. I quite like the sepia, so I'm going to go ahead and do those couple of tags with that as well. I've had a play around and I've done those tags. I'm trying to find my little book that I've got my vintage or aged tape that I've made, and I can't find it. So that's what I'm doing with the stamping block. I'm going to actually age some tape up to use on these tags. I'm really happy with the way they turned out in the end. They are pretty grungy, but that was what I was wanting. It doesn't always turn out exactly the way you have in your head, does it? That's that one, the Kaiser Craft spray. It left it sort of quite shiny. I'll definitely be using these in my future journals. I do want to do a grunge journal as well. I quite like that one. And these other papers here were a couple that I had done. I'm not sure whether I'm going to show you. I think I do. I don't know why I'm showing you that tag again. But these were just another couple of pages that I just put on with the black paint on the brayer. And then I put some sepia, splotched some sepia over top of one and white splotches over the top of the other. So they're a little bit different as well. And this on the gel plate I'll leave, and I will actually lift a print off that at some stage when I do some jelly printing. So I just wanted to add some age tape. I'm going to make some age tape just with these alcohol dual tip markers here, and then I might decorate a tag just to show you what I can do. It's just going to be very, very, very easy plain tag, just to show you that the effect once you put some bits and pieces on there and how they look. So you can see there I ended up sewing very randomly on those little tickets that I've added to the tag. It just gives them a little bit more texture. I'll end up backing the tag and sewing around all the edges, and I distressed the little tickets there as well. So I had so much fun in this session just playing and experimenting. I don't do it enough actually. I'm always frightened that I'm going to ruin something, and really it's only paper, isn't it? If we don't like it, we can gesso over it or throw it out. But I'm really, really happy with the end result, to be quite honest with you, even though it's not exactly what I had in my head. So let me know in the comments what you think of those backgrounds. I'm all inspired now. It's got the creative juices flowing, so I'm going to head off and have a little bit more of a play. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. And until next time, I hope you get a little bit of creative time in, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.